First at 5, Oregon health officials give us an update on the local impact of the coronavirus. The CDC expanded testing guidelines for COVID-19 yesterday, but health officials here in Oregon say testing will still be limited to mostly people who are hospitalized. Lindsay Nadrich was at the news conference this afternoon. Lindsay, what's the latest?
Yeah, state health officials now plan to do briefings twice a week about COVID-19 because the situation has evolved more rapidly than they initially expected. There were a few big takeaways from today's press conference, so here they are. Number one, not everyone who wants to be tested for COVID-19 can be, despite expanded guidelines from the CDC. Testing here in Oregon will continue to be for people who are sick enough to be hospitalized with a viral lung infection and test negative for the flu. For now, the state lab doesn't have the ability to test everyone. They can currently test about 40 people a day and say on average they're only testing about 10 to 20. Commercial labs are expected to start doing tests in the next week or so, and that would mean more people can be tested. Again, though, for now, testing is reserved for high-risk patients. But I did ask, isn't there a benefit to testing people with mild symptoms so they don't spread it to others?
There definitely is a benefit, but it doesn't change our messaging or what we're asking people to do. We talk about this during flu season, that people with mild illness who aren't having trouble breathing, who don't feel bad enough to go seek care, don't need to seek care just to get that test. It can put our healthcare providers at risk. It can also put that individual at risk for other infections that may be in that setting.
Health officials also said they've been liberal in testing people who might be connected to somebody who had the virus, which brings us to takeaway number 2. Health officials say most people who get COVID-19 will only have mild symptoms and do not need to be tested. If you feel sick and wouldn't normally go to the doctor, stay home until you feel better for at least 24 hours. And number 3, if you don't feel sick, health officials say there's really no reason to change your daily routine. They say it isn't widespread enough in Oregon to close schools and cancel big events. Again, the only recommendations right now are to wash your hands, use hand sanitizer, and avoid touching your face. Laurel.
Thank you, Lindsay. And there have been a lot of questions about the symptoms of the coronavirus and how do you tell the difference between it, allergies, and the flu. For coronavirus, you look for fever, cough, shortness of breath, or difficulty breathing. Symptoms can show up between 2 days and 2 weeks after exposure. For the flu, fever and cough are also issues, but you'll also experience muscle aches, fatigue, and weakness. You'll also have chills and sweats, congestion, and a sore throat. That's all for the flu. And for allergies, you'll experience sneezing, itchy nose, eyes, or roof of your mouth, a runny and stuffy nose, and watery, red, or swollen eyes. Forest Hills Elementary School in Lake Oswego is back open today. It had been closed since Friday after an employee tested positive for coronavirus. An industrial cleaning crew scrubbed down the building. Since learning about the employee's diagnosis, the superintendent says the school district and district leaders have reinforced better hygiene practices. They're also closely following guidelines from public health authorities. Portland Metro health officials are recommending retirement communities and hospitals limit the number of people who visit their facilities. They say to contain the virus, only visitors who are healthy should be allowed in. Devin Haskins looked into how Portland care facilities have made changes to protect their residents. Devin?
Well, Laura, looking at different retirement communities' websites and social media pages, you'll see many have already begun those recommendations. One even went as far as not allowing any outside visitors for the last week, and that's since been lifted. At Touchmark in the West Hills, it's home to 300 residents. Staff constantly clean tables and any hand-touch services as usual, but have taken extra steps to keep everyone healthy. They've removed newspapers and magazines from the communal areas. In the dining room, salt and pepper shakers have been replaced with packets. They've even taken the menus and created one big one so you aren't sharing menus. They've asked residents if they don't feel well to stay in their room and not share the germs. Touchmark says that these practices have been in place since February 18th.
It's just a heightened awareness, constantly evaluating our practices. We have activities where people come from out of the building into Touchmark, and so we're evaluating each one of those as we go about it.
In Washington state, at least 8 deaths are linked to a nursing home, and more than 50 residents and staff are showing signs of the infection. Laurel?
Thank you, Devin. A cruise ship is being held off the coast of California after almost 24 passengers and crew members reported coronavirus symptoms. The Grand Princess was scheduled to arrive in San Francisco Wednesday night. Officials told them not to dock, and testing kits would be dropped off by helicopter. Officials confirm at least 62 passengers came in contact with a man who died of the virus. That cruise ship was supposed to dock in Astoria in a couple of weeks, but understandably those plans could be in jeopardy. The Port of Astoria is making some last-minute changes to its cruise ship schedule because of the coronavirus. KGW's Kylie Boshi is live in Astoria. Kyle?
Laurel, cruise ships experience changes all the time, largely due to the weather, but this situation certainly is unique. Seems to be changing by the day, if not the hour. In fact, we've learned just recently 2 cruise ships have been added to the schedule here at the Port of Astoria because of repositioning on the West Coast. Astoria is planning for a record number of cruise ships this year. In all, the Port of Astoria is expected to host 37 cruise ships and around 80,000 passengers between March and October. The first ship scheduled to arrive, the Grand Princess, on March 31st. But those plans may be up in the air. The Grand Princess is currently idling off the coast of San Francisco amid concerns those on board may have been exposed to the coronavirus. A former passenger died. The Coast Guard requires that ships report any sick crew or passengers 2 weeks prior to arrival in a U.S. port. In anticipation of cruise ship season, health officials in Astoria and local leaders say they're working on a strategy to keep everyone safe.
Yeah, it's a rapidly evolving situation. That's why I'm urging patience, caution, monitor, be aware.
Astoria is uniquely positioned because it's a stopover along the West Coast.
The ships are coming from places where they're being vetted, like San Francisco or Vancouver, BC. And so that's the one good thing is if there's a problem, it's likely going to get caught before it gets here.
Volunteer hosts and small business owners are cautiously optimistic about cruise ship season. Tens of thousands of extra tourists provide a jolt to the local economy.
We've seen a downturn, of course, in the fishing industry and in the lumber industry. And with that downturn, we've kind of picked it up with tourism.
County health officials say the U.S. Coast Guard will take the lead on any screening procedures for visitors coming off cruise ships. The Coast Guard has been meeting with local leaders and port officials to finalize those plans. Local officials confirmed they've been in contact with those in California, not only to get an update on the Grand Princess, but also just a better understanding of how things are working down there in regards to cruise ships. I did send an email message asking questions to the Coast Guard about cruise ships arriving here at the Port of Astoria, and so far I've not heard back.
Thank you, Kyle. Live in Astoria for us. The outbreak is having a big effect on travel. Today, United Airlines announced it will temporarily suspend flights between Eugene and Chicago. It's part of a 10% cut in United flights because people just aren't flying in general because of coronavirus worries. United hasn't announced yet when the suspension will go into effect or for how long. A lot of you have been sending us your questions about the coronavirus. You can text them to us at this number, 503-226-5111. You can also text facts to that same number, and we'll send you a link to the latest information. There is a lot to cover with this outbreak. You can catch up on all of our stories, which include answers to many of your questions, by going to kgw.com/facts, not fear. Oregon's legislative session ended abruptly today with Republicans and Democrats blaming each other. KGW's Pat Doris is live in Salem covering all this. What a day there, Pat.
Right, Laurel, maybe even an historic day, a short session that ends in just utter failure. Only 3 bills passed, and both sides blaming each other. Here's what the two had to say.
This is a failed short session. I cannot believe that. It's a failed short session because 11 elected officials who are state senators would not come and do their job.
And Senate President and I have had long conversations about that, and we've both been afraid of it, and it's happening. The polarization, the inability to compromise, it's the national scene here in Oregon. No different. It's sad.
But is it
the Republicans' fault?
Listen, politics is supposed to be about compromise. Where's the compromise? We got 28 of our counties saying absolutely no cap and trade. Absolutely. They passed resolutions. And all we said then is just refer it to the voters.
Both sides, again, blaming the other for this disastrous special short session, not a special session. But this does signal a really interesting and important change in Oregon politics. It looks like now the governor is going to have to be using her executive powers, just like we see the president doing on the national level. Both sides agreed that that is likely what's going to happen now. And Governor Brown, in fact, did say that in the next couple of days she'd be rolling out some executive orders on climate change. The Republican leader said those would be met immediately with lawsuits. So we'll see. Back to you.
Boy, stay tuned. Thank you. Pat Doris live in Salem.